Hey folks, my name is Randy, and I'm a 25-year-old nature photographer here in the state of California. As a nature photographer, I've always been drawn to the untamed wilderness of California. Its rugged landscapes and dense forests have been the backdrop to many of my most captivating shots. The calming solitude brought by this great forest is why I was truly here. It's why I got the camera in the first place. To escape, I guess. To escape the world. To escape from people, to be specific. Nothing against people, really. I'm not antisocial or anything, but I just can't stand being around crowds or around other people. I just can't tolerate people. You understand. Anyways. It was a crisp autumn morning when I set out on my latest adventure, armed with my camera and a sense of excitement. My goal was to capture the beauty of the forest in its most raw and untouched state. Little did I know I was about to stumble upon something far beyond my wildest imagination. But first, I needed to swing by my favorite McDonald's on Roseo Avenue and grab a double McChicken from the drive-thru. On this particular day, I ordered a number 4 with a code red Mountain Dew, and everything was very nice. Finally, I pulled into the state parking lot and exited my vehicle around 4:03 p.m. as I set out to hike the great wilderness. The day was setting up to be the perfect temperature, and I was really enjoying listening to the local wildlife and watching the sunlight streak through the top of the forest canopy onto the rich, dark forest floor. The sun was illuminating golden maple leaves that were blowing in the warm summer wind and drifting through the air. As I trekked deeper into the wilderness, the trees seemed to close in around me, casting eerie shadows that danced in the sunlight. I was so lost in the serenity of the forest that I almost didn't notice the faint rustling ahead. Curiosity piqued. I cautiously approached the source of the sound, my camera at the ready. What I saw next made my blood run cold. There, standing amidst the towering trees, was a creature unlike anything I had ever seen before. Covered in shaggy fur and standing over 8 feet tall, it bore a striking resemblance to the legendary Bigfoot. This was no myth or figment of my imagination, however. This was real. Heart pounding in my chest, I instinctively raised my camera, desperate to capture proof of what I was witnessing. But before I could snap a photo, the creature turned and vanished into the depths of the forest with a speed and grace that defied its massive size. Determined to unravel the mystery of this elusive creature, I followed in hot pursuit, my senses on high alert. The forest grew darker and more ominous with each step, until I found myself standing before the entrance to a cavern hidden deep within the undergrowth. Without hesitation, I plunged into the darkness, the beam of my flashlight cutting through the dark forest like a knife. The air grew colder, and the silence more oppressive as I dived deeper into the cavern's depth, my heart racing with a mixture of fear and excitement. Side note, please, if you ever see these dark sections of forest, please don't ever go in them. I learned the hard way. This can sometimes, in fact, be where Bigfoot reside. Anyways, back to my story. Suddenly, I stumbled upon a sight that sent shivers down my spine. There, huddled in the shadows, was the creature I had been chasing, the living, breathing Bigfoot. Its eyes gleamed in the dim light, full of a primal intelligence that sent a chill down my spine. But there was something else there too, something almost human, lurking beneath the surface of those ancient eyes. For a moment, time seemed to stand still as the creature and I locked gazes, each sizing the other up with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. I began sending him telepathic messages. I said to him, "I understand you. I also dislike people. Please, take me into your tribe and away from the world." Then, with a grunt, I got a telepathic communication back. Swirling in my mind was the yellow wrapper of a Big Mac sandwich burger and the glowing yellow arches of the well-known McDonald's chain. What did this mean? I spent a moment trying to decipher this strange telepathic message. It seemed these animals had an affinity for McDonald's sandwiches. Then, with a low growl, the Bigfoot then turned and vanished into the darkness, leaving me alone in the cavern's depths once again. I knew where I had to go. McDonald's drive-thru on Roseo Avenue. They were open past midnight. I pulled up. "Welcome to McDonald's. How can I help you?" One Big Mac. Actually, make that two." As I made my way back down to the spot, I saw Bigfoot. My mind reeled with the implications of what I had witnessed. Had I truly come face to face with a living legend, or was it all just a trick of light? Only one thing was certain. The forest held secrets far stranger and more terrifying than I could ever have imagined. And that while I was still hungry, I wasn't going to eat this Big Mac that I got for Bigfoot. I thought about it. I'm not going to lie. But I was scared that if I did that, I might not get out of these woods alive, and that it might eat me. I set it on the tree stump near where we had met earlier that night and decided not to stick around. Better to let a guy eat in peace. That was my thought, at least. If Bigfoot likes the solitude, he surely doesn't want a pesky human waiting around while he eats. So I did the kind thing and headed back to my car. As I walked away, I began to have second thoughts about the whole thing. Like, was I just some kind of Uber Eats to this thing? I thought. I'm sorry, but I'm not your Uber Eats, I thought to myself. Then I said it out loud. Then I said it a little louder. And then I yelled it so loud I could hear the echo off the bedrock of the rolling hills surrounding the forest. Screw this, I thought. I'm not some Uber Eats for Bigfoot. I ripped the sandwich off the stump and shouted, "Mine!" I had just began to turn back towards my car when I saw it. The golden leaves. I stood there, the golden leaves drifting down from the tops of the trees and falling onto my face, falling onto my feet. But they weren't leaves. They were golden McDonald's hamburger wrappers, littering the entire area of the forest. I was in its den. I was in some kind of haunted forest nightmare Bigfoot, Big Mac, wrapper, den. A heap of golden leaves rustled to my left. Something moved and grunted in the bedding of the wrappers, and I wasn't going to stick around to find out what. I sprinted back to my car. I made it safely to my car opened the door, rammed the keys in the ignition, and peeled out of there in my 1992 Ford Tempo 5-speed. I rolled down the window with a hand crank and wiped the sweat from my brow. I grabbed my bottle of Code Red Mountain Dew, still ice cold, and pressed it against my lips and began to take a chug when I heard it, the most guttural growl I had ever heard. I immediately spilled the entire bottle of Code Red all over myself. Without a second thought, I revved my car and dropped it into third gear and aimed for the parking lot exit onto the expressway. My tires were spinning, and there was a blanket of smoke over 40 feet high, billowing behind me from the serious burnout I had just did. In the middle of the burnout, one of my tires exploded and immediately sent my car spinning out of control, just as I entered the expressway. I let off the accelerator, but I wasn't going to stop. I had to get the hell out of there. My car began to come out of the spin and straighten out, so I began feathering the gas pedal once again until I regained control of the vehicle, and then I laid on the accelerator and proceeded to burn out the rest of the tread off my tires. Sometimes you gotta let 'em know who's top dog, I thought to myself. The smell of that tire smoke will drift for miles. Their whole tribe will know who's top dog. In my rearview mirror, I could have sworn I saw the creature eating a Big Mac and putting on a pair of pitch black aviators while flicking me off. But at this point, I think my mind is just playing tricks on me. I'm interested in knowing what you guys think. Please comment below. One thing's for certain. As I emerged into the sunlight once more, I knew that I would never look at the wilderness in quite the same way again. I unwrapped the golden yellow Big Mac wrapper and began eating the sandwich. I wasn't ashamed, I was proud. Humans won the day today, I thought to myself. Until next time, bye for now, Randy.